And then, what else did we miss? We missed some more Sanskrit. Okay.
Oh, you're picking up that.
Yeah.
Which is the wrap up.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I wanted though to say, you talked about huge, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. And then, just give me a second. I'm trying to find a verse that I wanted to read to you. Where did it go? Where are the rest of the verses?
Yeah, right there. That's it for those two readings.
Okay, here we go. Right. Okay, so this is the verse I wanted to read to you, which Roger, he already talked about it. You know, when he was talking about keeping the practice secret, right? He wasn't just blabbing off the top of his head. Actually, it's a verse. Not everybody forget. And it is a verse, and it's a verse number 111, and it goes like this. The practice of the yoga of the sun and moon is something that should be kept hidden completely from others by any yogin who hopes to attain high spiritual goals. This practice is powerful when it is hidden and loses its power when it is revealed. So, you know, it's verse 111. It comes like right directly after the lineage roll call, and it comes right after the verse about Kaladanda, killing death, the goal of yoga, you know. So it's like that, right? The teacher gives you the practice. The more that you're able to see the teacher as a person who can give you anything, the more the practice will work. Why? Because the power of the practice doesn't come from it, and neither does the power of the teacher. How do we know that? Because we don't all see the same teacher as being a powerful teacher, right? So a teacher whom you see as powerful is just that, a teacher whom you see as powerful. And it comes completely 100% that way. Completely. So what that means is that you can see a person as a powerful teacher one day, and then the next day you kind of like, I don't know, they don't look so cool today anymore. And then the next day, they actually somehow manifest some kind of power to take you to heaven immediately. And then like that, right? And it'll shift. Why? Is because if it's coming from us, which it is, then it's completely driven by what's in our mind at any given point in time. Mm-hmm. And so how we perceive our world and how we label our world is constantly shifting, dependent upon what's arising in terms of karmas and what kinds of samskaras and seeds are, you know, bubbling up, you know, right? So I can see Zoe, she's just like beaming at me out of the corner of my eye here. It's so cool. And actually, you know, Roger said something interesting earlier. He said, I hate to tell you, but it's all coming from us. But actually, it's cause for great rejoicing, right? Because otherwise, what? There ain't a damn thing you can do about it. Right? I mean, if something is the way it is and that's all, and it's from their own side, it's like nothing could ever change. Fortunately, it's not like that. Fortunately, we create the teacher that appears before us. We even create the teachings, but you know, that's something else again. Have you noticed how like sometimes it's exactly what you needed at a certain point in time, or it's like, you know, well, how does that happen, right? You know, you read a book and it's like, oh my God, you know, I've been wondering that all my life, or so we manifest exactly what it is, and the power and the degree to which we are able to own that is the degree to which it will work for us. If we think that the power of the teacher is coming somehow from them at us, usually what happens in the moments when I forget, and I think, you know, that their impatience with me and their crankiness is coming from them. It's those moments that they have no power to teach me anything, you know. So even if I see them as cranky, and even if I see them as impatient and harsh, which I often do, gosh, I wonder why, but the degree to which I can keep and hold to that, this is what I'm creating because this is what I need right now for myself. Mm-hmm. This is why I see them doing this weird thing, you know, right? Then I can use that and they become more powerful for me, and only through that mechanism does it work. The whole thing only works that way. The teacher, the teachings, everything about it. So going back to the secret part, you know, the thing with the secret teachings and Tantra and all that, you know, they say, oh yeah, Tantra's secret. And of course it is. But here's the thing that's the most secret about it of all. The thing that's the most secret about it is that it actually doesn't work unless you see that it does. And just all by itself like that, it doesn't work. How do we know? Because you can go to Banyan books and you can pick up the Hatha Pradipika and you can read it from cover to cover, and it can be completely meaningless. Like what's with the Goraknath and his cows, you know? You know, what's he do? What's with the cowherd thing, and what is he talking about? And so Tantra only reveals itself when we are ready to receive it, and we literally draw it in. You know, usually we drag it out of a teacher, you know, and until that moment, you can see it, you can read it, you can hear about it, you can even, somebody can tell you about it, and you don't get it, and as long as you don't get it, it's a secret, right? It's a self-keeping secret. It's keeping itself secret from you if you don't get it. So that's the most powerful way in which it's secret, is that, I don't know, and there's this weird connection too that I've noticed between motivation and trying to draw a teaching out of a teacher. Like, why do I want this so badly, you know? Like, how badly do I want it, you know? And then they put you through your paces, right? And instead of giving you the teaching, they send you off to work in the kitchen for 12 years or something like that, you know? So how bad do I want it, right? All of that is coming from me. So that's kind of an important thing to remember if you want to know something or you want to learn something and it seems to not like be coming to you, or you don't get it, or they're not teaching it to you, or they keep sending you to the kitchen, or how badly do I want it, and have I really asked? Have I even really asked? You know, have I gone and said, I want it, I want it, I want it? You know, really, then, because I tell you this, is that I never get it until I ask repeatedly and fervently and with huge sincerity and good motivation. And it's only then that I actually get the teaching. And then it doesn't matter whether they're in front of me or they're not in front of me. It doesn't matter whether they've sent me to the kitchen or to the, you know, the outhouse or where. I still get the teaching. You know what I mean? So it's not really dependent upon anything but me. And I think that's about it. Okay.
Okay, we're just going to wrap up here really quickly. There's a few more things that happen to be on the homework for those of you that are doing homework about your retreat hut. If you find yourself in the middle of the forest or on a mountain top or something, shouldn't be too big. It should be, again, small to contain the energy. You don't want like massive cathedral ceilings or something like that. I find meditating in a very confined space can be quite useful because it contains the prana and it allows you to achieve pratyahara. It will withdraw the senses fairly quickly. So you want to keep it small-ish, or at least your meditation space, the hermitage within the hermitage. Within the hermitage, within the hermitage, right? So that Master Swatmarama recommends smearing cow dung all over the walls, which is what was done in the early days because it's actually quite antiseptic, and so it was very much an idea about cleanliness. And in ancient India, I think we can probably skip that part today, and keep it clean. Yogis like to keep things clean, generally speaking. Keep screens on the windows, keep insects out, keep mice and rodents out. Make sure that it's weatherproof and or insect/rodent proof, like that. The last thing you need is you're like just about to go into samadhi is like some fly like lands on you and you're like, oh, I worked so hard to get there. It's crazy, right? It's sort of like, it could be like a skit from the life of Brian or something. I spent 10 years trying to get to samadhi and then this fly landed on me. Right when I was going in.
Right here.
Yeah, right. So like that, be in a land that is well governed and that, politics are stable, he says, so that is an issue. In other words, don't like have your retreat hut right where two like armies are coming together to war it out. So be cool like that. Where food is easy to find, that's pretty self-explanatory. Good clean water is super important. Really nice clean water is good for yogis. Water has a great therapeutic qualities about it. Bugs we mentioned. Oh, windows. He talks about like if you're going to have if you're even going to have windows, keep them really high. Very high. Don't have like giant glass sliding doors or something, because your mind will want to leave. You have to rein it in. The mind is a wild horse and it will beat you to death, literally. Your mind is so powerful that unless you trick it and coerce it and like threaten it sometimes, it will totally get the better of you. It doesn't matter whether you're in retreat or not, it will whip your ass. So you do all these little things to trick it, and you rein it in slowly like a wild horse. You put up high windows, you put on heavy curtains, you keep the curtains drawn for a month. You remove all superfluous stuff from the walls. You don't have bookshelves with lovely dozens of wonderful books that, oh, wouldn't I like just to read that? And my mind just like, every time my eye catches it, you hang a big curtain over all the books or you get them out of the room. See what I mean? You start stripping everything away. So it's just you and your altar, and that's it, and your book and your instruction from your guru, right? So that's the kind of action you want to get going on in your hermitage. Yeah? That's all. That's it. Done early, 8:45.
That's
Yay.
it for now. Yeah, that's it for now. And so, I think what we'll do is, let's see. How can we get the manuals to you? That's the question.
We can rig something here and they can pick them up here.
Yeah, we'll do something like that.
So
Yeah.
do you think that's
We'll
best?
let you
Or
know.
if we just get everybody's emails and then I can let you
We'll
know
let them, yeah.
when they're
Okay.
ready.
Okay,
Yeah.
And
great.
then we can arrange a time.
That's
Or you can
great.
just let me know when you can pick them up.
Okay.
Great.
So we're going to do 8 manuals for now, and yep, you can come and get them. And then we're going to see you again on October the 18th, which is a Saturday. And that day, class goes from 10 to 12, 2 to 4, and 6 to 8.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's right. And then in those breaks, right, we could organize some, I mean, they're breaks, but we might do a little bit of practical stuff in there. We'll see how it goes, and we'll play it by ear. But it's kind of a long day, but it's good to space the classes out like that rather than have it all crammed in. We find it's very important to do it that way. So, you know, there'll be a little bit more free time, and you can walk around or go out and have meals and things like that. The eating thing becomes very important in Hatha Yoga. Eating becomes very important, and especially the quantity of food becomes especially important. So we go into that next class quite a lot, but I just thought I would drop this bomb on you now. And that is that Swami Satyananda, it was Swami Satyananda, the guru of Swami Muktibodhananda, who offers as a guideline that yogis who are practicing Hatha Yoga should take a sock, their sock. This is Roger's sock, right? So, and it's kind of like to the ankle. It can't be like up to your because what he says is that yogis,
He didn't talk about that in the manual.
yogis should eat the amount of food that fits into half of their sock.
Half.
Yeah, half. And then the other 1/4 water and the other quarter leave empty. So let's say up to about here, okay? So that's Roger's sock. So that's approximately the size of his stomach.
Yeah, but my sock is stretchy too. Like, I can eat more now.
That's his stomach, right? And you know, we're talking about like cooked food. It's not like, you know, Salt Spring Center salads at Salt Spring Center, you know, not like that, okay? So you have to imagine it's cooked food, because yogis generally, that's what's recommended for yogis, is cooked dals and things like that. So cooked food like that to fill up half of your sock, which is the size of your stomach. 1/4 water, 1/2 food, and the other quarter leave empty. That's the general guideline that Swami Satyananda offers. And I don't know, like we really noticed in retreat that the amount of food, the quantity of food we ate had a direct bearing on our practice. Not only what we ate, but most especially how much we ate. So that I offer you that, and then also just to say that when we come back on that Saturday, we could do, we'll let you know by email, maybe we'll have some sort of optional asana class in the morning. And you know, maybe we could, some people can teach it, or we'll see. Anyway, we'll talk about that, but that might be fun to do. And then other than that, because the classes are only 2 hours long, and because in each class we're going to pop a pranayama and a mudra and a bandha and other things, that when we eat is going to become important. Okay? So, but I think it would work just to say eat very moderately on that day, and eat well in advance of the first class, and then we'll do something like cover the things that really require an empty stomach. Maybe we'll cover them in the first class and stuff like that. And then the after lunch type classes we'll reserve for like lectures, you know. Okay, so I think that's it.
We'll finish with an
So we'll finish with Oms.
Yes.
We'll finish with Oms. So again, focusing on the exhalation, very, very, very long as you can, and then longer even after that. And inhaling through the nose. Oh. Put your hands in Anjali Mudra at your heart center. Yogam Sharanam Gacchami. Yogam Sharanam Gacchami. Yogam Sharanam Gacchami.
Thank you. Namaste. Thank you. If anyone has any questions, we'll hang out up here for a bit if you want.
Thank you for coming. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.